I studied how 27 of the fastest growing fitness brands actually shot to fame. And here is the 5 most successful marketing strategies that came up time and time again, so that you can steal your favorite and explode your fashion business. If you don't know me, I'm Joel. I've started a few businesses over the last 10 years, but my first was a fashion brand that started in my university room to become an ASOS.com partnered brand. I've since spent years as a growth advisor for D2C and e-commerce brands, some you will have heard of. And now I make YouTube videos because I'm a sad little man and I don't know what else to do with my life. Anyway, starting with the most obvious marketing strategy and working our way down to the most obscure. Strategy number 1 is influencer-led growth. This is where your brand grows through people with audiences and not ads. Creators, athletes, or even you as the founder as the face. As you might well know, this is a very common one. It is really great because it builds trust with your audiences faster than ads ever will. And this is because people's favorite influencers are essentially like a little Jesus to them, and you are their disciples. It's got low upfront costs if you're scrappy and you use micro creators or you use your own persona. But as with every single strategy, there is always downsides. With this one, I would say it's a very slow burn. You are building relationships and not immediate sales. And it's also very high risk if you're relying too much on one personality and that person turns out to be the Liver King or some other public humiliation for themselves and for all their sponsors, i.e. you. But the biggest problem out of all of these is that scaling your marketing spend is extremely difficult. And therefore getting explosive growth requires building more systems, getting ambassadors and athletes and creating programs. Essentially, it's much easier to spend 10 times more on ads than it is to get 10 times the amount of athletes. I would say that this strategy works best for startups with tiny budgets, but very strong storytelling. So essentially, if you're good on camera or you know somebody with the right audience, then this could be for you. The absolute goat of this, in my opinion, is Alphalete with Christian Guzman. When I was getting into the gym about 10 plus years ago, I used to watch all of his workout videos, and he has since built an unbelievable sized company starting from vlogging. And now there's Alphaland, which is a wild idea that's actually worked. Moral of the story, consider being the influencer first and the brand second. Right, on to strategy 2, which is scarcity. This one's about turning shopping into a psychology trick. Launch days, countdowns, hype-related things. Basically making a hoodie feel like a prize on release day. You likely won't need me to explain to you why scarcity works. But if you did want to dive deeper into it, there is a fantastic chapter in Robert Cialdini's Influence. In fact, the whole book is a very strong recommendation for anybody who wants to master marketing for their brand. Anyway, when you use scarcity, your launch day is your marketing. Every drop feels new and exciting to your audience. And there's even the added bonus of safer cash flow because smaller stock runs means there's less warehouse wastage. But you do have to keep making new products and new SKUs just to keep things exciting. And if you leave the gap too long between launches, that excitement fades anyway. And also, scaling scarcity is a tricky one. I mean, it's in the name. People love the hype, but they also love buying clothes when they actually need them. And yes, you might be able to charge more per item, but depending on your price point, you're probably going to make less money overall because selling 100 things at 50 quid is nowhere near as good as selling 1,000 things at 30 quid. This works best for startups that have a high ticket item and want to look bigger than they actually are. Having limited edition drops makes you look like a brand that people love. Insert hypebeast kid. And the best example of recent gym brands that have really skilled scarcity, it might not come as a surprise, it's Gymshark. Their whole rise to fame was essentially tease, release, sell out, and repeat. Scarcity is usually considered just a tactic, but in Gymshark's world, it was kind of their entire marketing campaign. Okay, moving on to strategy 3, and this will come as no shock that it comes up in pretty much every successful, fast-growing gym apparel brand that I researched: paid ads. It's not the most cost-efficient way, but it is the most reliable way of getting 10 million eyeballs onto your brand in a month. And it becomes really strong. Once you get through the testing phase and you get to a point where you're just rotating through the creatives and the copy that works, it's very predictable, which means that you can put £1 in and you know you're going to get about £3 out. And it's the only one out of all these strategies where you can just tap a few buttons and you literally open the tap to very targeted traffic shooting into your website. Another great thing is it's also got a very fast feedback loop, so you know if it's not working in hours and days rather than months, so that you can do something about it and not waste any more time than is necessary. I would say that paid ads really works for founders who already have skill sets that align with content creation, copywriting, and building digital funnels, i.e. me, actually. But there's obviously bad bits too. The obvious one, you're gonna probably burn through some cash. Even the pro marketers do. New products, new audiences, new seasons. There is so many factors changing at all times that it is hard to keep up. And not having things completely in control costs you money. Oh, also, you might become a meta cuck. Zuck and his little band of merry men are gonna take you on a ride that you realistically did not want to sign up for. At this point, I have a big warning of a mistake that I see tons of founders making. Never ever rely on just paid ads. One tiny change in algorithms or CPMs, you're absolutely fucked. And you go from thinking that your business is a rocket ship to having no customers and tons of bills to pay. So overall, paid ads is best for startups that have proof of demand and realistically have some budget to spare. If you're still at zero sales or you're very early on, I would suggest not to touch it unless you're just using paid ads as a validation system or some sort of learning exercise. And I would like to add that paid ads are most effective when combined with a few of the other strategies. Now, if you want an unbelievably successful example of using paid ads, it would have to be Fabletics. They have created an absolute mammoth by running some of the most aggressive ad campaigns I've seen in a long time. Yes, I am the perfect audience for them, but I can't go a few hours without them coming up on my feed and being in my head. Hence why they've come up in this video. Right, strategy 4 is community and experiences. This is when you stop being a brand and you start being someone's identity. Community and experiences leads beautifully into loyalty. Once people feel like they belong, you're part of their existence and they kind of feel like they have to wear your logo. Humans are actually kind of sad when you think about it. Okay, the good bits. You will get tons of free content from your customers, which means content production just became way easier. And once you have these customers, they're much less likely to switch to another brand, which means that individual customer lifetime value goes up and the returns you get on all of your other marketing becomes stronger because these people shop with you for longer periods of time. And also, I would say that it doesn't need a huge budget if you're clever about it. But, and there is a big but. Imagine you've spent absolutely months planning this big event and you've got a good chunk of signups, you're really excited about it, and you wake up on the day and it's raining. Only about 25% of people actually turn up. This can happen no matter the amount of skill and the amount of effort you put in. And I know you're saying, oh Joel, just host it inside. But believe me, people will find a reason not to turn up to a live event. I used to run lots of in-person retail events with my first brand, and I would always wake up on the day not actually knowing how it was going to go. It's just something that I had to get used to. Another major issue with community and experiences is that there is nothing more cringe than a forced community. So I hope you actually believe in what you're selling and you're not just doing it for sales. I would say that this strategy works best for founders who can't outspend their competitors, but they can genuinely connect with their audience. So if you're a person who actually likes other humans, gross, then this is all yours. And the best example of the day for this one, Lululemon. They started by doing free yoga classes and now they've made over 10 billion in sales. I also saw a while back that people literally got their logo tattooed to their leg, which is funny because I nearly got a Monster Energy tattoo back when I was 18. And I was a BMX rude boy. And I still wake up every single day wishing that I did. Right, moving on. My personal favorite strategy of the bunch is UGC flywheel, user generated content. This is when your customers basically become your marketing team. You sell, they create content, they post, you repost, they repost it, and suddenly you have a catalogue of content that you didn't even make. It is dirt cheap because it makes every single broccoli hair, back knee, teenage gym bro want to post about you, because just like me, they don't get enough love at home. Another pro to this is that conversion rates are very healthy because real people convert way better than any marketing style ad. But obviously, you are going to need some customers to kickstart this. You can't do this from day one. So you'll have trouble if you don't have any of those yet. Oh, and tracking is an absolute ball ache, even for the best of us. Traffic is coming from every angle and we're not really sure what worked. This strategy is best for brands with passionate early adopters. And if your products photograph well, then even better. Now, if you're sat there thinking, I don't know which of these strategies I want to focus on first, but you know you really want to avoid getting financially pegged by the Zuck, then here is a helpful guide to help you pick the right marketing channel for your business. Go for it.